either.
Republican Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma joins us now from Oklahoma City. Senator, welcome back to Meet the Press, sir.
Thanks, Chuck. Good to be with you again.
All right, let me start with simply this. Does what happened in Parkland make you think Congress does have something to do this time? We saw what Senator Cornyn proposed. We had the bump stock legislation that was proposed. Nothing happened. What about now?
Yeah, I'm on the same legislation that with Senator Cornyn on what they call the fix NICS. That is the first thing of multiple things that need to be done. That is fixing our background check system to make sure that all information is actually getting in there. As we've seen with a previous shooting, we had an individual that had a criminal record that didn't get into the NICS system, so they were able to legally purchase a weapon. In this case, we have a lot of warning signs that were out there, and people in Parkland and all across the country have every reason to be grieved and incredibly furious. The social services was in this home more than 20 times, expelled from school, posted online, went into a school shooting, had warned the FBI. This person was dangerous and nothing was done. All the warning signs were there. The community did all the things that the community should do to be able to engage. They saw something, they said something, and nothing was done. And yet, Mr. Cruz was able to legally buy an AR-15 because none of that information was in the background check system. So let me ask you, should this be the way the background check system is used? If Broward County had to expel this student, should that information have been in the system so that if he went to purchase a gun, then maybe a more extensive background check is triggered? I have no issue with more extensive background checks. I have no issue with slowing down purchases for people that show all the basic warning signs. We have determined as a country that only a court can actually take away a constitutional right, and the right to keep and bear arms is a constitutional right. So we have courts that step in on mental health and other things. There are ways to be able to do this to make sure that we keep the system clean and clear. It is a major issue in the country, making sure that we have background checks, but the background checks have all the information that's needed on it.
And one of the other oddities in Florida is the fact that the AR-15 was something that somebody under the age of 21 can legally purchase, but not a handgun. Well, the AR-15 in this case was extraordinarily more destructive than any other weapon he could have bought at the age of 21.
Yeah, that's an issue that's been determined a long time ago. An AR-15 is a rifle, handgun, obviously handgun.
Is that a mistake? I understand it was determined. Should it be classified that way anymore?
So there are 3 or 4 or 5 times as many crimes committed with a handgun than there are with a rifle. So we can have that conversation, but when you look at the statistics, many, many, many more shootings occur with a pistol than they do with a rifle. I'm fully aware that you've got situations like this where they mass shooting with an AR-15, but the pistol has still been the weapon of choice for murderers.
I understand that, but going back to the AR-15, is this a hunting rifle in your opinion?
Some actually do hunt with an AR-15 as well.
Okay, but should it be?
Well, I think it's up to the individual. The problem is not owning an AR-15, is the person that owns it. Again, you not go back to the how of what particular weapon is chosen, it's the why. I have individuals in my neighborhood that own an AR-15. That doesn't make it a dangerous neighborhood or them dangerous individuals. It's the individual themselves becomes the issue, not the weapon that they're holding.
Well, I understand that, but it seems as if the gap here is that it is still too easy to purchase one. Should it be much harder to purchase an AR-15?
I actually don't think it should be. I think that what should be is difficult for any person with any kind of criminal background history, domestic violence, mental instability, all of those things, regardless. I don't care whether they're buying a .22 pistol or an AR-15. We have good, clear, strong background checks on each person.
Do you? But obviously we don't. I mean, do you think this background check system really works in America? I mean, we don't have a strong background check system. I think that's pretty clear at this point, is it not?
And that's why I'm on the Fix NICS bill, because I also agree with you. That is not complete. We're not getting the information from some rural departments. We're not getting it from some federal entities. We're not getting the information into that background system. So that absolutely needs to be fixed. That's why I think that legislation needs to be pushed, and I'm currently on it.
All right, let me move to the Russia situation. You're on the Senate Intelligence Committee, the one committee in Washington that I think still is working in a bipartisan manner. Your colleague on that committee, Angus King, said the following. I want to get you to respond to it on the other side.
My problem is I talk to people in Maine who say the whole thing is a witch hunt and it's a hoax because the president told me. We cannot confront this threat, which is a serious one, with a whole of government response when the leader of the government continues to deny that it exists.
Senator, that was on Tuesday. We got the Mueller indictments Friday. The president has tweeted about the Mueller indictments 13 times since Friday, including 5 times this morning, and not once, sir, has he condemned Russia. Does that bother you?
It does, because Russia's clearly tried to advance their agenda into the United States. The president's been very adamant to say he didn't collude. He's very frustrated that people seem to accuse the fact that the only reason he's president is because of some sort of Russian collusion. But I would say the clear message here is Russia did mean to interfere in our election in whatever way that that might be, starting as far back as 2014, where they were planning, organizing, coordinating with, among other Russians, to be able to make sure that they are trying to get out chaos into our election system.
But is Senator King right that if the president won't acknowledge Russia's role here and won't condemn Russia, we're sort of hamstrung in what we really can do to both protect 18 and 20, but also confront Russia?
I would actually disagree on that, and I came up and spoke about it not long after that in that same hearing on Tuesday. The Department of Homeland Security has been very aggressive working with states under this administration to be able to work on election security. I have a bill with Amy Klobuchar that she and I are doing together along with Kamala Harris to be able to work on election security issues, but much of what we have in that piece of legislation that has not been passed yet, that I hope is passed, this administration has already started doing already. That is security clearances for individuals in states, getting information to them much faster, and trying to be able to make sure that information is audible.
Does the Mueller indictment, the 37-page indictment, do anything to clear the president or his campaign?
No, it's not necessarily focused on clearing the president. There are no accusations that anyone in the campaign was colluding. That is very true. When you read through the entire document, whoever was writing the document was trying to be very clear. These are Russians that were working to be able to interfere in our election, but no American was aware of that. In fact, they made it very clear that these Russians pretended to be Americans, even in their online persona, as they interacted with Americans. Americans were not colluding or cooperating with them. But it wasn't designed to be able to clear everything on the investigation. It was designed to say, it was very clear, these 13 individuals in this set of companies were trying to interfere in our election.
It's still an open question of whether more Americans helped or not. Is that correct, sir?
It is an open question, and I hope that does get resolved quickly. That's something that we've worked on in a bipartisan way. We're working on a bipartisan report to be able to come out on that, and we expect Mueller to also come out with his final report in the coming days.
Senator Lankford, unfortunately, that's all the time I have right now. I appreciate you coming out and sharing your views, sir.
But thank you.
You got it. Well, joining me now